Hello, and welcome back to the channel. As most of you know, I'm Topher, and for those of you who don't know and just randomly decided to click on my video, welcome to the channel. I'm Topher. Thank you for stopping by. So we're here to do a reaction, and we're diving back into the Untamed. We're diving into episode 46, y'all. We are on the countdown till the end. We have 5 episodes left. Oh, it has been a long journey, but we are nearing that finish line, and I don't know where they gonna take this. So towards the end of last episode, well, all of last episode, really, they were just, writers were just spilling tea left and right, just we're just gonna spill all this tea. But you guys were like, hey, no, they didn't spill all the tea. There's still much more to let out. I'm like, oh Lord Jesus, I don't know if I can handle all these twists and turns. So we're gonna dive into episode 46 and see what else happens. Oh goodness. Okay, so we had lots of feelings, lots more feelings. I guess last episode when I said, oh, they were just spilling all the tea this episode, and you guys were like, hey Topher, wait, there's still so much more tea. You guys weren't lying. Granted, this tea was tea I already knew, because if you remember, I don't even remember how many episodes back it was at this point, 20 something episodes. Someone in the comments made mention that the golden cores were exchanged, or he gave up his golden core, and that if you look at the diagrams or the scripts that he was looking through when he was researching ways to restore the core, it's kind of self-explanatory. You can kind of see it there, and I was like, okay, cool. I didn't really take it as a big spoiler or anything. I'm like, okay, yeah, I guess I can look at these things and blah 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 blah. But you guys were like, oh my god, this person spoiled it. I hate people. Why do people blah 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 blah? So it's like, that was kind of a little detail that I already knew. I wasn't thinking about it at this point. I just kind of took it as, okay, yeah, that's something that happened, and just moved on with it, and forgot that was really a point of contention or anything happening here. But they brought it up in this. I was wondering how we were going to resolve whatever this little battle was with Chang and Wuxia, because first, before I even dive into that, backtrack a little bit. So we picked up where we left off. We had the two women basically spilling tea all about Meng Yao. And like, I even had to pause it there, which y'all know I tend to, especially when it comes to some of these series, not really pause. I just kind of talk through, unless like something really speaks to me. I'm like, okay, I know I'm going to say a lot, so let me pause it. So I had to pause it, where I'm like, these clans, they frustrate me. They're so frustrating. So I'm like, y'all, all of a sudden, y'all have like the IQ of 17 Einsteins put together. All of a sudden, y'all can piece together all these puzzles, and like, yes, this is what's happening. This person did this, that, all these despicable acts, and this person is. I'm like, where was all of this sound, logical thinking 16, 20 years ago, when Wuxia was alive and trying to plead his case, trying to prove his innocence? Where was all of this logical puzzle putting pieces together and whatnot? I'm like, Lord, why is it now all of a sudden? But then even after I said that, they were still so quick to just like jump to these conclusions, and Wuxia and Zhan were just kind of hanging back. They're like, there's still some things that don't make sense. A plus B is still not quite equal in C. If he was so quick to kill off all of those survivors, why is she alive? Which I'm like, yeah, I asked that last episode. It feels like an unnecessary loose end. And then he noticed that the other lady was wearing these beautiful jade bangles on her wrist. He's like, nice bracelet. And then she very quickly went to hide it, where it's like, okay, we're drawing attention to this for some reason. There's something about their story that's either not adding up, or we still don't have all the details. It's like, why are you choosing to expose things now? Why this, that, the other? And it's like, did you know that the reason that she killed herself is because you went and told her the secret today? Blah, blah, blah. Which I'm like, I don't think it. Yes, by extension, that is the case. It's not like she read the note and was like, oh Lord, I have to kill myself. Like, no, obviously Meng Yao did something to her, bewitched her, enchanted her, so that, again, covering his tracks when they were going into the secret rooms, she would see the sword and, do whatever she needed to do to kill herself. So as an extension of telling her, yes, but not like directly responsible for killing her. But yeah, there's just things about the timing and whatnot that just weren't adding up. But everybody else in the room is like, they don't care. They found this, just like when they were ready to turn on Wuxia. They found this one little piece of something and they latched onto it. They're like, okay, this is it. Meng Yao is the worst person in the world. We need to end him. But what about this piece of information that doesn't make sense? Doesn't matter. We need to end him. It's like, oh, Lord, they're so frustrating. But at least everyone is now aware of Meng Yao's duplicitous nature, and he is not the trusted official that he had been all this time. So at least that's some good thing. But there's still lots of questions. Who is, and Wuxian's out here hypothesizing. The person who saved that one girl is probably the person who wrote the letter, and they're meticulous, just like Meng Yao, playing this game very meticulously, playing this long waiting game, and to what end, we don't know. Are they friend or foe? We don't know. There's lots of questions, lots of things still up in the air. And I love how before that scene, everyone else is like, okay, yeah, and what about Zhu Yang? He's the one who Meng Yao probably let him escape, and he created the yin iron, this, that, and the other. And like, hey, Master Wei, we're gonna let you handle this. And he's like, what? And they're like, yeah, we're gonna let you handle this because nobody is better at these arts than the Ying patriarch. Yeah, you handle this. And it's like, bitch, now we friends? Now all of a sudden we're friends? 16 years ago, y'all wanted my head on a silver platter. Now all of a sudden, now we good now? After y'all killed me and I had to come back to life, I had to resurrect. We good now? No, bye. Miss me with that. I'm like, the nerve of these people. But anyway, Wuxian and Lanzhan went roaming through the Lotus Pier, and they came across the ancestral temple where big sister and parents were, their memorial tablets were there, so went to pay their respects, light some incense, and speak with them. And Lanzhan and Wuxian were having a moment, and then of course Chang had to come up and be Chang, feeling lots of feelings, which again I understand to a certain degree. The feelings he's feeling, the hate, resentment he's been harboring, because he's been blaming Wuxian for a lot, even though everything is not Wuxian's fault directly, as we found out later in the episode. Still, he's been blaming him for a lot, and I'm like, okay, I can understand where this frustration is coming from to a certain degree. But there was a lot of hostility in him, especially when Wuxian kept like, okay, let's just go, Lanzhan, let's just go, and Chang just kept pushing buttons, just kept pushing, trying to get a reaction out of Wuxian, and Wuxian was not giving him the reaction. And then he started being disrespectful to Lanzhan, and Wuxian's like, okay, look, you can talk about me all you want, but I'll be damned if you be disrespectful to my baby. Don't fuck around with me, little boy. Okay, fuck around and find out. And Chang's like, oh, you want to fight? Let's fight. Let's go. And Wuxian was about to go in on him, and then he realized, okay, I am in this ancestral temple. My big sister's over there watching. Okay, I'll let it go. So he's like, Lanzhan, let's go. And then Chang's like, you know what? No, I'm not done here. I ain't done here. Chases him out like, hey, where are you going? I thought you wanted to fight. I'm like, okay. So Chang, again, has had lots of feelings, he's been harboring a lot of anger and resentment towards Wuxian, unresolved. So even though, yes, he did kind of like plunge him off of a cliff or whatever, still, I don't think that was enough to resolve these feelings of hatred and disdain that he's had towards him. So I think that he was trying to pick a fight. He was trying to incite some sort of fight because he deep down just needs to address these unresolved issues. He needs to get it out of his system. Do I think if they fought, it would all be magically fixed and they'd be, you know, loving brothers again? No, but it's something that's deep down in him that he has left unresolved, and he needs to get this out. So he kept picking a fight, and then Wuxian's not giving him the time of day. So then he whips out the purple lightning and goes, whoo, and then Lanshan's like, no, bitch, not today, not on my man. And then he comes back with the purple lightning, and then when Ying comes flying in, like, no, bitch, not today, not on my master. And then he hits him with the purple lightning a couple more times, and when Ying keeps like saying, pull out the sword, pull out the sword. I'm like, why are you, this is Wuxian's sword, why are you having him pull out this sword? And then it started to make sense, and then he was able to pull out the sword. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. I get where we're going here. And then we went through the whole storyline. We had the whole flashback of things we've already seen. But again, this show is so good about giving us these moments and then 15 episodes later giving us flashbacks to those same moments, but with more context, and everything just makes so much more sense. So it's like they've been laying these seeds all the way along this storyline, like little things that really, watching it the first time through, you're like, okay, not that it doesn't matter, but it doesn't matter in the way that it will matter. Like those moments of Wuxian not carrying the sword, and everyone's like, oh, he's disrespectful, why don't you use a sword? And I'm like, oh, I don't want to use a sword anymore, I found another way, this, that, the other. And even the moment with him and Zhan, where Zhan's like, why did you abandon the way of the sword, this, that, the other, darkness is going to get to your heart. And he's like, how do you think people know my heart better than I do? Or like all those moments, like in the context of where we were back then in those episodes, made perfect sense. And it's like, okay, yeah, it's fine. Wuxian's on this dark path, this, that, the other, and okay, he's changing. But with the context we have now and seeing where everything was, it's like, no, it's not that he's necessarily on this dark path. It's that it is his only way of being able to fight or contribute, because he gave up his golden core. And not only did he give up his golden core, it was a terribly painful process, because he had to be fully awake, fully alert, no anesthesia, just cutting into him for 3 days straight. Like, Lord, that is intense. And after giving up his golden core, he no longer had the spiritual energy to sustain using his sword and whatnot. So he had to find other means, which means that literally every single negative thing that has happened in this series after Wuxian gave up his golden core. So him, not necessarily him falling into the Barrow Mountains and coming across the Yin Iron and all that kind of stuff, but him developing these sort of dark cultivation, becoming the master of that, using that instead of the sword, and all of the repercussions that have come out of that, his reputation going to shambles because he's not using the sword and people are seeing him use this dark magic, and now he's the Ying patriarch and this, that, the other. Literally all of that happened because he gave up his golden core to his baby brother. Big brother. I don't remember which one's older at this point. Either way, he gave up his golden core to his brother. If he had never made that sacrifice, he would still be a swordsman, still be fighting off everything with his sword, this, that, the other. Wouldn't have even discovered this other, probably wouldn't have discovered this other means of cultivation. Yes, Cheng would have been living life as a normal human if he didn't end himself, because again, we've seen how important being a cultivator was to him, to the point where Wuxian was giving up his golden core. But had he never done that, there's a lot of plot points in the story that probably never would have happened. There's a lot, who knows, Yan Li might still be alive, probably would be. Parents probably would still be dead, because I think they died before the golden core was crushed. So they would still be gone. But yeah, who knows? Yan Li might still, because that whole big battle on that, with Wuxian, and that probably wouldn't have happened. She wouldn't have had a reason to go running out there. Jin Ziswan probably wouldn't have been dead either. Like, there's so many things that have happened that were a result of Wuxian learning this demonic cultivation. And even though he wasn't intentionally causing certain things, there are just certain things that have happened, that one domino fell and it led to this whole other path of stuff that probably never would have happened if he never gave up his golden core. So just like how the one lady telling Meng Yao's wife that, hey, he's actually your brother, wasn't directly the cause of her killing herself. It was an extension, because if she didn't tell her and she didn't get that letter, that she wouldn't have questioned Meng Yao. Meng Yao wouldn't have paralyzed her, threw her in this room, all these, snowball effect, and then she wouldn't be dead right now. So just like that wasn't a direct effect of her telling it was this extended effect. This whole last 25 episodes, 30 episodes of this series probably wouldn't have gone down the way it went down had it not been for Wuxian sacrificing his golden core and giving it to Chang. So there's a lot that's happened in this universe that Chang, I won't say he's responsible for, because again, Wuxian gave up his golden core of his own volition. It was his choice. Chang didn't beg him. Chang didn't ask him. Wuxian gave it up willingly. But to a certain degree, I'm sure he probably feels, once he starts to believe that, oh yeah, Wuxian actually did this for me, probably feels some sense of guilt or responsibility, because these things probably wouldn't have happened if Chang weren't so obsessed with, like when Ning was saying, competition, competing, being this great cultivator, being this clan leader, this, that, the other. If Wuxian was fine, he's like, you know what, if I don't have a plan B, that's fine. I can be a normal person. That's cool. But Chang can't. Chang couldn't. So it's like, damn, son. Damn. And you could see Lan Zhan hearing all this, just like, I can't believe you actually did, you crazy bastard. I can't believe. And then he's flashing back to these moments that he had with him in the past, where he was scolding him or worried about him following down this dark path. And he's like, damn, you really loved your brother. You loved the shit out of your brother to the point where you were willing to make this lifelong sacrifice, potentially sacrificing your life, because who knows, you had a 50-50 chance of surviving. You really loved him to this degree, and then to keep it secret and let him go on living his life like this. And oh my God, you crazy bastard, you crazy bastard. Oh God, I swear this show has such good storytelling. Oh, it is so good. It's so good, y'all. So yeah, now we're on the hunt for Meng Yao. We'll see where the next episode takes us. But yeah, this was fabulous. We got 4 episodes left, y'all. 4 episodes left, and then we're gonna dive into either the novel or the Donghua, I believe is how it's pronounced. I put up a poll on the community tab of my YouTube channel. If you haven't already seen, if you're watching this on YouTube, that poll is long since gone. But if you're watching this over on Patreon, I put up that poll, and I think right now the majority of people are voting for me to dive into the Donghua. But I did order the first 2 volumes of the Grandfather Demonic Cultivation. A, just so I had them, and B, if the voting takes a turn then I'll have it on hand with me. So diving into one of those once we finish out this, but yeah, it's been a fun little journey. But I hope you guys enjoyed this reaction. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, turn on notifications to be notified when all of my shenanigans get posted. If there's anything else you'd like me to react to, be sure to leave it down in the comments and I'll get to it as soon as I possibly can. If you'd like to support the channel in other ways, you're more than welcome to join us over on Patreon. You don't have to, but you're more than welcome to if you want to. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Love you. Mwah.
Stranded